Welcome you all back to another episode of Introspective Thoughts. What's good, y'all? We back in 2021. Hopefully y'all surviving all of the bullshit that has gone down on Capitol Hill, because what the almighty fuck, is going on. Hopefully if you follow me on Twitter, you watch my video that said black people to sit the black fuck down and don't pay none of this shit attention, because let them white folk destroy the Capitol. Yes, we know it'd have been unfair. That it's unfair that if it was black people doing it, we would have got shot and killed, blah, blah, blah. Don't put yourself into some shit that ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Mind your business. It's that simple. What you can be doing is staying prayed up and getting a plan together, so when it all do crumble down, because it is going to crumble down. When it all do crumble down, make sure you and your household is together. But soapbox over, we done talking about that because I don't care that much. But I have another guest here today. Hopefully you enjoyed last week's episode with Jaleisha, as she talked about being a mom and, you know, what it's like being an educator and being in res life and being in a university setting while also being married and having a child as well, because I just don't know how. Women, especially black women, I mean, y'all need everything. I mean, awards, roses, flowers, cars, push gifts, all that shit. Y'all need everything. But today we're going to switch gears, and because it is still the top of 2021, and I'm pretty sure half of y'all are sitting here talking about I'm going to get my fitness goals together this year, and I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to eat better. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not. You've been saying this for the last 3 years, and you still ain't did it. But don't let me talk shit about you, because you actually might do it. Who knows? Maybe because we in a panoramic, we in a Ponda Replay, a Ponderosa, a Pancreas, whatever. You know, maybe this is the year you get your life together. Hopefully this is the year you get your life together, but whatever. But with that being the case, I have another friend of mine that's on here. He's come to talk about fitness. He's come to talk about weight loss and his journey and how he got to all this other great things. So welcome to the show, Mr. Jalen Delance. What's good, man?
What it do, bro? That was a great intro, by the way.
Hey, I do what I can with what I got. You know, I try. You know, it is what it is. But I appreciate it, though.
That was a great intro. I love that.
I appreciate it. So tell the people who you are. You know, I gave a small brief introduction of who you are, but tell the people who you are, what you do, and all the other great jazz.
I'm Jalen Delance. That's my Instagram tag, but my real name is Jalen Tarvin. But yeah, I'm a fitness online. I guess you call me a fitness influencer. I don't really like that term, but in the real world, I'm an online fitness coach, boot camp instructor, and then I also am an electrical engineer, and I'm a YouTuber. So I guess that's pretty much my resume. But yeah, I just started doing YouTube last year. I just started doing YouTube in 2020, and then I've been an online fitness coach since 2018, and a fitness bootcamp instructor since 2018 also.
Okay, then. So
yeah,
how did you? Well, before I get into that other question, because let's reduce some rewind, y'all. Okay, so y'all probably have noticed the trend, and if you ain't noticed the trend, I'm gonna just put you on game. So every person that I've interviewed up to this point, I know all of them from UT, with the exception of probably like 2 or 3 people that have been on this show so far, right? And so Jalen has actually been on this fitness wave since undergrad days, right? So he had this thing called 30 Days of Fitness, which I'm pretty sure he's going to get more into detail about what that looks like. And for a lot of people from the outside looking in, we was like, what the fuck is this? And this is very barbaric. This is very tyrannical. Like, you telling me to cut things out of my diet, the things that I like to eat and shit. What is this? But this is somebody y'all probably want to tap into and listen to, because nigga know what he talking about. Because 30 Days of Fitness, I'm gonna just put it like this. I got on it and I saw a significant change. And because I was on it and saw a significant change, my mama and daddy actually wanted to be part of it, and they actually did it. And they said, no, it was my mama, let me not lie. lie for my dad like that. My mama said she did it, and she said she saw a good change, and she actually enjoyed that she was doing it, right? But with that being the case, how did you get into fitness? Like, what was the start point? Because I know a lot of people, again, as I said earlier, a lot of people like, I'm gonna change my diet and I'm gonna eat better, but talking about it and doing it is two different things, right? So how did you get into fitness? Like, what was the start point for you to, want to get on this fitness journey and, be all about your health in a sense?
It started in 2013. I should know this by heart, but I'm just now like putting my story together so I can build my brand. But I know it's after my sophomore year of college. Like before my sophomore year of college, I had went through a bunch of like fluctuations in terms of weight. But that summer, I was working at an internship at Tennessee Valley, and I was making buku money. Like I forget how much they paid me. They paid me like $17 an hour, something like that. They paid me a lot of money. And this is as an intern, so I was paying him a lot of money. And I literally went to work every day, 8 hours, sat on the computer, and then I probably worked like 1 hour per day. And so during that time, this was around the time of the Trayvon Martin shooting. So that was around the time where I also started blogging. So I was writing blogs on different like topics. And so that kind of all started because of Trayvon Martin and how that was like to me, that was one of the first, I guess, like police brutality events that was very largely promoted throughout the media. So I had got into blogging, and then I also was into YouTube. So I used to watch YouTube videos for like when I was at work, I used to watch YouTube videos all the time. And I don't really remember how it happened, but around that time, I knew that I wanted to lose weight because I was like I said, I was making all this money. Like I was making a lot of money, and like I was buying clothes, like all the clothes I could find, like the nicest clothes I could find. And it was like no matter how much money I spent on these clothes or how expensive they were or how nice they looked, I didn't like how I looked in them because I was fat. And to be straight up. So that was kind of like the premise of how I really got into fitness. Like I just really hated how I looked. And I hated how I was buying these clothes that were considered nice clothes, but still didn't like how I looked. And so, like I said, I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos at work, and so I stumbled upon this YouTube creators called the Hodge Twins. I'm sure y'all might have heard of them or not. But they used to make fitness videos, and they would just, pretty much give out fitness tips. Um, and from then on out, I just watched a bunch of their videos, and over time, I just figured out how to lose weight. And so over that summer, I started lifting weights. I started tracking everything I ate, like literally everything I ate. Um, and in 3 months, I lost 30 pounds. And so after that, I lost 30 pounds. I came back to school. I was going to UT at the time, University of Tennessee. And if anybody went to University of Tennessee, they know like that first week of school, you have like Curvatina and I think it's called Splash Jam. So that was pretty much like the two social events you would have before college. And I just remember coming back to college that week, and everybody was like, "Damn, Jalen, you lost so much weight. Like you look so great." And it was just a bunch of admiration for everything that I had done over that summer. And it only happened in 3 months. Like that's just, to me, that's an insane transformation. For me at the time, it was an insane transformation. And from then on out, it just became a part of my life because it pretty much changed my life. That summer changed my life. So yeah, that's how it all started.
That's dope. Like,
Yeah.
and to hear that you lost all of that in 3 months, because I even think back to my own personal story where, like, many people don't know this. Like, unless you know me from middle school days, which it ain't too many people that I still talk to that know me from way back in the day. But for those that don't know, like me being this size wasn't always a thing, right? Like I would put it like this: eighth grade was imagine smaller, well, shorter, because I really wasn't much shorter than I am now, and I didn't have locks at this point, you know. But imagine an eighth grader wearing a size 38 pants and pushing 200 pounds, right? Now in today's society, they probably be like, well, you can't fat shame people and let them do this, that, and the third, which I'm like, okay, you do what you want. But the same thing, like how you said, how you didn't like how you looked and what you and what you had, that was the same thing that got me into my fitness journey, which got me to the size that I am now, and I didn't like the way that I looked. I hated that, you know, I had stomach that flowed over pants, you know, I had all of that going on. And for me to be 14 years old and be like that, that's kind of problematic. Um, but even how you said you lost all of that in 3 months, like once I really started getting into my fitness goals, and I really didn't really get into fitness until the 11th grade, um, it took me a whole year to lose 30 pounds versus, you know, what you had going on, right? And maybe it's for me, it's because I wasn't lifting weights. I was just doing a lot of cardio. Because I remember at one point in time, I would go to the gym and do 100 flights of stairs on the Stairmaster,
Wow.
without blinking, like just literally just go do it. I put in headphones, watch TV, and zone out and just go at it. And then other times I would go and run 3 miles on the treadmill, you know, flat on the treadmill just for shits and giggles, you know. And that's what helped me get to my, you know, point where I lost 30 pounds. And I mean like 30 pounds of like just skin, bone, muscle, all of that. Like I went from
Yeah.
198 to 196 in a year. Not 198, excuse me, 198 to 168, excuse me, my math is off. But just to hear that, you know, that to hear that you've had that kind of transformation in 3 months, it's like, damn, what the fuck was I doing? You know, when I take a step back and look at it. But that's dope to hear that you know that you had that kind of transformation, because even though I recognize and understand that all of us are different, all of our bodies are different, all of our lifestyles are different, all of our eating habits are different, all that great stuff is different, you know, to me, it makes it seem like that's a lot more doable. Like just to do more regarding your health and your fitness, it's a lot more doable and it's a lot easier to do just based off hearing that time frame. So it's dope that you had that, you know, and that you can, you know, attest to that and say that, you know, because of this, I saw this. And because I saw this, I wanted this. And so because I wanted this, I made sure I was on it, you know. So you came back the summer of, you know, came back from the summer to uh the start of the semester or start of the academic year. So like what did you change to get that, to achieve that goal? And like, did it change again after that fact, or did you keep on there? Like, what did that process look like?
So when I was in high school, so when I was in high school, I had the same feeling. Like I always wanted to lose weight, but in high school, I didn't really like. I was still new to working out. The only time I really worked out was when I played basketball. And then like when I did play basketball, I played for the school in middle school. And then once I started trying out in high school, we did lift weights from time to time. But at the same time, I didn't really have that. Like when it comes to working out, you have to have a certain type of mindset. In high school, I didn't have the mindset to actually push through a workout. I don't know if that's whether like confidence or like perseverance or whatever. But like in high school, I just didn't have that mental. I guess I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have no motivation behind working out. Like I wanted to play basketball, but I wasn't really interested in working out. So when it came to working out in high school, I never enjoyed running or like lifting weights. I just wanted to play basketball. But um, so in high school, it was kind of hard for me to always. It was hard for me to keep weight off because I didn't really enjoy working out. I never took it seriously. I definitely never dieted. My dad used to buy like this Hawaiian Punch, and I used to drink like cups of that. I used to drink so many cups of Hawaiian Punch, like. And my daddy never fed me. My dad never fed me like unhealthy food. So don't let me get y'all wrong. But that Hawaiian Punch, man, I used to drink so many cups of that, man. And if anybody know about drinks, like drinks just have so many calories in it. And the worst thing about it is that it's just so easy to drink those calories back to back to back, especially with like a Hawaiian Punch where you could drink 3 or 4 glasses of that and you don't really feel no different afterwards. So yeah, in high school I wasn't really working out for real. I wasn't lifting weights. The only thing I really did active was play basketball. And then fast forward to that summer, like I said, I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and that's when I got into weightlifting. And so I started following like a lot of bodybuilders, and that's kind of like the mission behind my brand is that I want to push people to get more into weightlifting because I find that many people don't have a problem doing cardio. Like I was just in the gym the other day, and it's like you can easily find people in the gym doing, and I don't mean to like point out anybody, but like you can easily find somebody in the gym that's overweight or obese doing like 45 minutes of cardio, but it's very unlikely that you would see a lot of people that's overweight lifting weights for whatever reason. And I couldn't completely understand that they have, certain reasons, whether it's confidence or whatever. But for me at the time, like the lifting weights portion is what really changed um, my progress. I mean, the diet too, and we could talk about diet too, but I really want to press the topic of weightlifting just because, like you said earlier, you lost all that weight, and I don't know if you said it or not, but I can guess that after you lost all that weight from doing a bunch of cardio, as soon as you changed your workout plan where you weren't doing that much cardio, you probably gained a lot of that weight back. Is that right?
In a sense, yes, but no. And I'll say, and it's a yes, but no, because
Not
uh,
all of it, but some of it.
and that's where the yes piece comes in, because it wasn't because I didn't change my diet. I was still eating the same shit, right?
Yeah,
It was a lose the weight, but it was more so of more exercise. And then I would still, my mom was still frying pork chops and making spaghetti and frying fish and frying chicken out. It's like we didn't make the dietary changes that are necessary for like to sustain that, right? But
yeah,
even after I was doing the cardio, we were going to Lifetime Fitness in Memphis, and they had like the rule at the time was that unless you had a spotter, you couldn't do the bench pressing or deadlifts and stuff like that. Which I mean, I ain't know how to do that shit no way
that's
because I'm
interesting.
not an athlete.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
interesting.
how
Yeah,
to do that. You know, the only thing I do know how to do is run because marching band. I'm sorry. For those that don't know, I had a crazy high school band director. This Negro made us run 3 miles in the Memphis heat. Now, if you don't know how high to get in Memphis, let me just put it like this. At 8 a.m., it is 88 degrees and it feels like 102 already. This Negro had us running 3 miles at band practice, 2 before practice and 1 after practice. So all I knew was cardio, right? And so I would do that, and then with the little bit of time that I would have left over, because I think we would spend like an hour and some change at the gym, I would try to divide up my time and do stairmaster, do the elliptical, do the treadmill, do whatever, and then go do the machines and try to build up some type of muscle. But like you said, some of that weight did gain back because of the dietary changes, but also everybody talk about when you go to college, you get that freshman 15. Now at the University of Tennessee, you lose 15 your freshman year. At least that was the case for me, because all them goddamn hills and all that walking across campus. For those that ain't never been to Knoxville, ain't never been on UT campus, from one side of campus to the other is a smooth 3 mile walk, like no bullshit. Like, and that's up and down several hills, right? And I'm not talking like no little cute hill or whatever. I'm talking about it's easier to take the stairs than to climb the hill. Okay, that just to give y'all a when you get a chance, get on Google and Google the hill, as in like literally the hill, University of Tennessee, and you see what I'm talking about. And they're only gonna give you the front side. They don't show you the back side by the stadium. Now that's bullshit. But tangent over. But like I said, all of that was like I did gain that weight back, but it was more so the dietary thing versus the exercise piece, if that makes sense.
yeah. But so that's what I was gonna. Well, that kind of like feeds into what I was just saying. So like what I've seen with myself and with my clients, and I actually saw this with myself during the pandemic, or like when the pandemic first started, is that for someone, especially for me, when I was coming out of high school, I didn't really lift weight, so I didn't really have that much muscle mass. So being a person that doesn't have a lot of muscle mass, once you lose all that weight, it's going to be hard to sustain that because you don't really have, in other words, when you build a lot of muscle, you create a threshold of calories that your body has to maintain. That you create a threshold of calories that your body needs to maintain that weight. And so, for people that don't weight lift, it's going to be harder for them to sustain their results if they don't have any muscle mass. So, for me during the pandemic, I didn't work out for, and I know this might be crazy to believe, but like, I think the pandemic hit in March. I started working out in like probably like the end of March, and I didn't work out. I didn't really start working out again until like July or August. I don't remember. It was like a good 2 or 3 months. Okay, it might have not been 3 months. It was probably like 2 months. It was like 2 months. I didn't really work out at all. I probably worked out like once or twice per week, and it was at the house, and it was like some BS workouts. But I literally came back to the gym, um, and I was still able to do not as much weight as I was lifting before, but I was still pretty much able to lift a pretty good amount of weight, and I was still able to keep a lot of body fat off. Like I didn't really gain a lot of body fat over that time period that I was not lifting weights, and I really would credit all that to be the fact that I had built so much muscle, over the last few years that I was able to I mean, of course, I didn't look as good as I did before, but because I had built that muscle, I had a higher threshold for calories, so it was easier for me to stay out of a caloric surplus because my threshold was so high. And that's the same thing I seen work for my first client. Um, I don't know if y'all, if you listen to this, follow me on Instagram at Jalen Delance. But I made a post about my first client, online fitness, my online client, and um, as soon as we put her on a weight training program, like she instantly started losing weight really fast. Like she lost like 14 pounds in 15 days, no, 15 weeks, something like that. And I actually coached her for like 2 years. And then I thought that in my head, after we got done working together, that she would like gain the weight back. Cause some people, once they get off a program, they go back to their old ways, or for whatever reason, they gain the weight back. But she actually said she hadn't gained any of the weight back. And I would credit all that to the weightlifting because, like I said earlier, once you get into weightlifting and you start building muscle, that's something that you can't do through cardio. Once you start building muscle, your caloric threshold for and calories in general becomes higher. So it becomes harder for you to stay out of a caloric surplus. That's why a lot of athletes, I mean, once they retire, it becomes harder for them to gain weight unless they do it intentionally. And I think that's another reason why women think it's harder for them to lose weight. And I'm not saying it's the only reason why, but I think that's why a lot of women struggle with losing weight because they don't take time to build the muscle mass. So, like I said earlier, that's one of the reasons behind my brand, Mastery Gains. So I didn't really plug my brand earlier during our introduction, but I have a fitness brand called Mastery Gains, and yeah, that's one of the missions behind the brand is to promote more weightlifting because people just don't lift weights enough. And if you follow me, I lift a lot, and it doesn't have to be like an absurd amount of weightlifting, but you do need to have some type of weightlifting in your program. So yeah,
No, and I
that's
love that.
that's
That's
what I'm
dope.
pushing.
No, that's dope, and I love that. I have a segue question because I do want to get to your brand and master games, and I
Yeah,
want to get there, but I have a question though because what you just said as far as like how athletes don't gain as much weight afterwards because they have the caloric threshold is a lot different than it was beforehand, right? And it's because of them, lifting weights and stuff like that, right? For me, I've also seen the same thing where it's now like, as we were discussing before we started recording, like, I'll just put it like this, y'all. I'm a plant-based eater, meaning that majority of my meals are based in are plant-based, essentially. Like, I don't eat meat except for fish, and I eat fish like twice a month, and that's just for the omega-3 oils and stuff like that for your brain and stuff like that. But um, I don't eat, much junk food. That's a halfway lie. I'll get to that in a second. But I don't eat a lot of, quote unquote bad food. Which I mean, I do strongly believe there's a such thing as bad food because if it's not doing, if it's not aiding you in being um better in a sense of like giving your body the fuel that it needs to properly operate, then to me it's bad food. But all of that is that's subjective. It's based on your body type, right? But let's say like yesterday, I had a bag of the purple bag of Doritos. I'm sorry, I feel like I have to have one of those almost every day. Like my addiction is chips, like, and it just is what it is. I love eating chips with. I don't know if it's the salt or whatever it is, but I just love eating chips. But I will eat, especially if I'm like feeling depressed or if I'm anxious, my go-to is always junk food. Like it's always a bag of hot Cheetos or a bag of hot chips, a purple bag of Doritos, something, and a honey bun and an Arizona. Now, I can eat that shit 7 days out of the week and not gain a single pound. Whereas other people that I know, they can eat that once and then it'd be like, up, and here we go, shoot up the body fat. And it's like, I don't know how you do that, but okay. But my question, I guess, is like what how are people able to do that? Like how are athletes able to maintain? Because I know for me, I'm thinking for me, like my metabolism is extremely fast, considering that I don't eat meat, my body doesn't require a lot of energy to break down anything. um but at the same time, I'm always on go too. Like I'm always moving or whatever. So like how is it that people are able to maintain that kind of continuation, even though they probably stop working out.
I would say the first thing, and I think this is like one of the worst things, like for me to see or hear people say these things, kind of like it saddens me because a lot of people put limitations on their body. And like you said earlier, a lot of people say things like, "Oh, I don't have a fast metabolism," or everybody just had, and it's normal too. A lot of people just have a lot of things that they have felt throughout their life is the reason why they haven't reached the point in their life, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? We all have, things that are holding us back because genetics is a real thing, biology is a real thing. But I think, to me, I think a lot of people just lean on excuses for too long, and that's why they never get to where they need to be. But to go back to your question, when it comes to athletes, and I'm not like an expert on athletes or their training or anything, but the simple answer to that is be that an athlete is going to be training. Like athletes, I think they train like twice a day, more times than not. So a lifestyle, and this is another thing that I'm working on promoting more with my brand in terms of a lot of people just aren't active enough, and it's normal because in this life that we live, we live behind a computer, we live behind a cell phone. We don't really have a reason to. And me and my girlfriend were just talking about this the other day, like because she was asking me like, did people work out back in the '70s? And we started googling it, and we found out that a lot of people didn't have to work out back in the day because they were so active. You know what I'm saying? They had to hang their clothes on the wash line. They had to go chop the tree down. You know what I'm saying? They was doing all these things throughout the day that would quote unquote burn calories. But these days we don't have to do nothing. I mean, I don't really like. You can probably survive your whole day in the house not doing anything without being active at all. So I think the very number one, well, it's not the number one rule, but one of the big things that can make a change in most people's lives if they just got more active. A lot of people just aren't active enough. And for me, I'm one of those persons, like I'm not really active. Like I sit behind the computer all the time. So that's why for me, it's important to work out probably almost every day. If you don't work out every day, it's going to be, and when I say workout, it doesn't have to be an intense, crazy, heavy weightlifting or heavy, high intensity workout. It could be like walking for 30 minutes. Like sometimes, if most people walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week, they'll see results. So yeah, I would say it comes down to activeness because a lot of people we just live a sedentary lifestyle and it's natural and it's okay. So you're gonna have to go walk for 30 minutes or go do a 4 minute ab routine. Just something slight to get the metabolism going. So yeah, that would be my answer for that.
No, and that's something that I've also told people as well, because it's that deficit thinking, the deficit mindset. They're like, oh, well, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, you do know, in Christians, I'm gonna have to get on y'all ass for this one. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Hear me, let's say it again. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So your growth or your demise is in how you speak over yourself. So if you say that, oh, my metabolism isn't fast, or I can't do this, or I can't do this, what the fuck you think is gonna happen? You think Jesus gonna just show up and be like, nope, I said different, so it's gonna be no, girl. You faith without work is dead. You have to put in the work. If you want to lose the weight, get up and go walk. Damn it, it's not gonna kill you. Y'all go walk around a mall to go buy some damn shoes and some clothes that you don't need probably, or you finna go walk to somebody's grocery store or to the gas station to get. That's all you got to do. And I know in majority of the country, it is colder than a polar bear's ball sack right now. Because in the region of the DMV, it's motherfucking cold out here. And I don't want to take my ass outside, but I still put a nice little coat on and put on these good old moccasins and put on some thermal socks and put on some long johns. And I take my happy ass outside and I go walk because it's necessary. But people don't even want to do the small things in order to make the biggest impacts. That's literally why that saying is a thing. Like, you have to do the small stuff in order to make the biggest impact. And nobody's out here telling you go out here and flip a tractor tire. Now, if that's what you can do, by all means, go for it. I would like to do that, but I don't know anybody with a tractor to flip the tire, you know. But if that's what you want to do, by all means, go for it. But nobody's telling you that that's what you have to do, but you got to do something, right? And even if you can't do something like this, like my mama even started doing she started walking around the house, because the way that the house is built, she's able to, the way that the house is built is like built in a circle. So kind of like when she walks out of her bedroom, the direction split into two different ways. One goes to the entrance hall and towards the dining room. The other goes towards the living room. They both meet in the kitchen, and you can go either outside or to the den, right? And so what she does is start in her bedroom, walk through the dining room, walk into the kitchen through the den, make a lap around the coffee table, and go back through the living room, back to where she started, and that's one lap. She's even got to the point where she started going up and down the steps, which I don't know how she does it because it's about 20 steps from the bottom floor to the top floor. And even when I make it up there with my fast metabolism and cardio and weightlifting ass, I get to the top and I'm just like, I need a break. I don't like this. This is terrible. I'm tired. And this is coming from somebody who literally just said they would do 100 flights of steps on the Stepmaster. Them 20 is a bitch, and I don't like them. But, but it's the little stuff but it's that little stuff that counts. But a lot of people don't see that. But again, if your mindset is already attuned to failing and attuned to you can't do something, you can't expect to lose the weight. Like, what the fuck? Like that, it just doesn't work like that. Enough of that tangent, enough of that soapbox and that sermon. Now, to mastery gains into the fitness boot camp and stuff like that, right? So how did all of that get started, right? Because you say you had all this going on. I've seen the pictures on Instagram where you and like 10 other people was outside in Houston. Y'all was out, I mean, going at it. And then I see the after picture, everybody glistening and sweating and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, y'all put in work. I don't know what the hell he had y'all doing, but y'all niggas put in some work, cause ain't no way everybody out here cheesing and on the inside they like, I can't wait till this picture's over with, cause I'm about to lay right here. I'm about to lay down right here, or I'm about to get in a car, cut the air on, and I'm about to just lay here for about 30 minutes until I can move. But talk to the people. What does that look like? What is the mastery games? What does the boot camp look like? And if you would so kindly walk us through one day of one regiment. If I was your client, what would you have us doing on one day of a regiment?
It's interesting because I feel like people just have this preconceived notion that I'm just like this hardcore fitness guy, and I could be hardcore, but like the things that I do for myself aren't what I'm going to give for my clients because we're in two different spaces. You know what I'm saying? So like how I'm gonna start my diet and how I start a client diet is completely different. But I guess to start off, it all started when I moved to Houston in 2017. So I used to actually do programs in college, and I used to give people programs for free in college all the time. And I did 30 days of fitness in college also. But when I moved to Houston in 2017, like I said, I had already been working out in college. I had gotten in really great shape in college. Like fitness at that point, by 2017, fitness was a stable part of my life. I worked out all the time. But when I got to Houston, it was different. You know what I'm saying? Fitness it's completely different than Tennessee, and not in a like a contrasting way, but just it's at a higher level. So once I got to Houston and I got involved with of course, when you move to a big city, you got to make friends. So my way of making friends was to make friends with people that have similar or have things in common with me. So I had like my friends that I knew like socially from like, the club, not the club, like the bars and the day parties and all that. I had those friends, but I also started making friends on the fitness scene because the fitness scene in Houston is just insane. Like it's not like it's not like a competitive scene. It's not like you have to have abs or you have to have this or that. It's just very social. So you get like a bunch of different social groups for different levels. You have like your running groups. You have like CrossFit, of course. You have just a bunch of good variety of fitness groups. I guess I don't even remember how I found TX Fit. TX Fit is the boot camp that me and some other trainers operate. But I don't remember how I found it. I think I found it on Instagram. Then I just popped up at the boot camp one day, started meeting people, and then I think after a year, 2018, they did like a casting call for new trainers to come become boot camp instructors. And me, I popped up like, what I'm saying, I'm trying to be on the team. So at that point, he already knew I was trying to get on. I didn't even have to do like no crazy interview or nothing. So I became a boot camp instructor. And then that same year, which is 2018, I actually got my first online client. And it was actually on accident because at that time, I think I had did 30 days of fitness in that spring. And then just randomly, like I ended up getting this client. I'm not going to say her name or nothing, but it was a female client. She just was like, hey, I'm trying to lose weight. Can you do an online program for me? And so from that point, I actually had already did some free programs for some friends. Like they had hit me up like, saying, how can you help me lose weight? And I would like do these things for them. So it kind of like just built up over time. But so I eventually got my first client. I started working at TX Fit as a bootcamp instructor. And from 2018 to 2020, like my life just, it was just on an upward trajectory in terms of fitness. And so along that time, I just realized like, so I always wanted to create a platform, a fitness platform. And I wish I remember, but I don't remember. But one day I just came up with the name Mastery Gains. I mean, gains was a term that I had been using like so much because, gains, I mean, y'all know what gains mean. It's pretty much just like obtaining something. But for me, gains was just like, you can get, it's kind of like how rappers use trap. Like, of course, trap is like, I mean, trap has its specific meaning, but a lot of people you can use trap in so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? You can be trapping at your work. You can be trapping at, you know what I'm saying, at the daycare. You can be trapping anywhere making money. But for me, gains was kind of like that same type of turn. It was like, I can make gains at work, you know what I'm saying, getting promoted at work. I can make gains at school by making all A's. I can make gains in the gym by building muscle. Like gains just became a universal term for me. And then the mastery part came from just the concept of, like I've always been into self-development. So like for me, mastery means like not necessarily being perfect, because we know that we can never be perfect, but we can work every day to become a better version of ourselves. So for me, the mastery part signifies every day trying to be better, you know what I'm saying? Making every day count, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to have your bad days, but, in the long term, it's all about creating more good days than bad days. And if you believe in the concept of compound interest, well, actually, you don't have to believe in it. It's a factual concept. But with compound interest, you know what I'm saying? If you create enough, once you create enough good days over time, you're like doomed to achieve something great. So that's kind of where the concept of mastery comes from. It's just all about doing something for a consistent amount of time and then achieving whatever you're trying to achieve. So that's kind of like the story behind Mastery Games. So I just came up with that randomly, and then I just started throwing it on the internet. You know what I'm saying? I made a few graphics on Canva, and yeah, that's kind of how the brand started. And then over that time, you know what I'm saying, I had dropped 30 Days of Fitness, which was a free program, pretty much a 4-week program where you kind of go through elimination diet. And the goal of that was pretty much to get people to not to eliminate foods from their diet, but just to like increase their discipline when it comes to eating, because most people want to eat healthy, they just don't know how, or like they don't really have a purpose. And more times than not, they don't have a plan. So it was just like a plan it was a way for me to give people a plan that they could use, and it could work for everybody, but it wasn't like too demanding because you only had to eliminate certain foods every week. So it wasn't like cold turkey. So yeah, I started that program. I had dropped that program that year. I was posting hella flyers on Instagram with the program, and I was posting workouts like every day on my Mastery Gains fitness page. And I was just getting content out there. And so over that time, I was posting hella content on Instagram. I was a boot camp instructor. And then I had this client, like I said earlier, who lost 14 pounds in I think 15 weeks. And at the time, honestly, like I didn't really realize what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I was just having fun with it. And so, after I seen the results that it produced, I realized that this was like something I could really take further. And so last year, which was summer 2019, which was kind of like the peak, like summer 2019 for me was like epic, because if you follow me, you know that like the boot camp was just crazy last year. Because like people always saw the boot camp, because I mean I posted that a lot, but people weren't really seeing what I was doing with my client because I didn't post that. For some reason, I never posted that because I didn't really understand what I was doing. I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't understand like the impact it could have if I was posting it on my business. So yeah, summer 2019, I ended up getting the best shape of my life. My client was in the best shape of her life, and it was just like, it was a magical moment. And then 2020, of course, everything kind of hit a wall because of the pandemic. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how everything happened. So during that time over the pandemic, I've just been building my business up to be more professional, to be more crisp, more clean. And I just want to be able to deliver a better product, one that's irresistible, but also effective, and that people want to buy into, not because they feel like they have to, but because they want to, and they're going to enjoy, what I'm saying, joining the lifestyle of Mastery Games.
That is so dope, man. And I like for real.
I
Like,
don't even know if I answered your question, but yeah.
no, you did. You did. 100% you did. And because how you just said at the end of that, like if people have been watching and following, along, and to be quite honest with you, I stopped paying attention to a lot of shit because I have my own stuff going on. But of course, I watch people from a distance. I'm that person, like I'm gonna stand in the back and I'm like, okay. Shout out. I may not physically say it, but I'm always sending prosperity and success to people when I see that they are doing something that is very beneficial. But I literally saw the progression, y'all. Like I watched it happen, and everything he's saying, like, you know, as far as like you see how it grows, like it, just the story, your story in it, of how this became a thing, that's even a testament to when you know what your purpose in this existence is, and you take it and you sprint for it and you just go with it, even though you like, even how you just said, you know, you just randomly came up with the name. I don't believe that nothing is a coincidence in this life. Everything happens for a reason, right? Even when, you know, a client hit you up and was like, hey, I'm trying to lose weight, because then you see not only how much it benefits you, like you just said, you was having fun with it. It's just something that you're doing to have fun with it. But when you take something that you just having fun with, but it's also a benefit to other people, and you marry those two things, you literally, everything will move out of the way so that way you can have everything you need for that to be successful. And to watch the growth over the years, it's like, when I saw when you started with 30 days of fitness, like, even before I knew what it was, I didn't do 30 days of fitness until 2016 or 2017, even though you said you had already started it years prior to that. You know, even when I tried it, I was like, oh, this is something like that. You got something right here. I don't know what this is getting ready to do, but you got something right here. Again, even though this stuff is very tyrannical, at least for me, and every fiber of my being is like, fuck that, I want a honey bun. I want candy. I want chips. I was like, fuck all of that. I'm gonna eat it. Even when you try it, it's like you said, it's the elimination diet. Like when you try it and you move out of your own way, you find what's beneficial for you, right? And even just the practice of it, like it told that practice in itself, or that trial for itself, even told me, it's like, nah, it's something in this. Like, focus on that, pay attention to this, because something gonna come out of it, right? But to see all of that, how it's grown over the years, and to see how you've taken it just from doing free stuff online for people, you know, just for the homies or whatever, and now it's grown into this big, you know, platform now. You know, even though you said you hit a wall with the pandemic, we'll talk about this offline, but I see so many different opportunities and possibilities are coming out of it, right? Because what a lot of people got is that they was like, oh my God, this pandemic is gonna stop everything that I'm doing. Nah, if you just shift over just a little bit more, your answer to your problem is like right there. But you know, it's dope to see how all of this has grown, and how it's not only benefited you, but it's something that literally can save the life of somebody. Because like you said, one of your clients was in the best shape of your life, best shape of their life. You was in the best shape of your life. It benefited you. You saw how it's benefiting other people. You know, stuff like this can literally save somebody's life, because they just need somebody with the mindset that is like, we're going to shift you into something better. So even the idea with mastery games, even before you said it, I was even thinking to myself, like, the mastery piece is not even just in losing weight. That's a mental thing. That's a hustle. That's a grind type thing, where, you know, the idea of mastery is, you know, something so well that it comes naturally to you. Like, you've learned something so well that it just comes to you. Like, you can do it blindfolded. You can do it hand tied behind your back. It don't take much for you to do it. But I also saw how that in itself can shift so many different things, where if you make one shift in this thing over here, it has a domino effect, right? So no, I'm actually, like, you answered that question like really well, and I am appreciative that there's this type of program out here for people, that there's this type of what is the word that I'm looking for? Of course, I hate the English language. There's this type of program, there's a type of outlet for people to be able to tap into, to be able to change their life, even when they don't think that they can, even when they have that mindset to say, oh, I can't do this, or, you know, my metabolism is not there, or, you know, I don't know how to eat. Like, you're literally giving people a way out, you know, or showing people a way through whatever the bullshit mindset and ideologies that they have going on, right? So no, that's dope. Like, I enjoy that, and I appreciate that, you know, this is what you've created. Because I'm sorry, people gonna always want to lose weight. Folks want to get rich quick. Folks want the flat tummy tea. Folks want the herbal life and shit like that. And I ain't never the type of person that's gonna knock somebody hustle or count nobody else's pocket. But y'all, let's be realistic. you got to put in the work, and just drinking somebody tea ain't gonna get it. Like drinking tea helps. Like don't get me wrong, because I drink tea every day. It helps. But come on now, y'all. Let's be realistic. That's not gonna do nothing for you. Like it's just not, right? But then like my other question was like, let's say me and you were, if I was starting the regimen, right? And you see what I got, I've already told you what I bring to the table, what I eat and stuff like that, and you know how I look now. What would be like? What would the start process of that look like? You know, like as far as diet is concerned, as far as exercise is concerned, like what kind of regimen do you suggest for your people? Is it just strictly weightlifting, or is it a combination of weights and then a mental aspect, or like what does that look like?
It really depends on the person. I never like. I mean, of course, I promote weightlifting, but I mean, I also know how to program cardio and body weight, and I've done just about every type of workout style and diet style. Not everyone, but I've probably done a good majority of all styles before. So I have a good idea of how all of them work and how you can benefit from each one. But I never like try to push anything specific on a certain person. So the first thing I would do is pretty much see, well, at least for every client before you work with me, you have to fill out a survey. And so the point of that survey is for me to get to know you on a more detailed level. So I can see, of course, like what you want to do, what your goal is, you know what I'm saying, what you eat, you know, what your guilty pleasures are, because I never want to force somebody to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is the way that they are for certain reasons, whether it's good or bad. So I try to like take the good out of people and use that to their benefit. So I mean, I've learned that from talking to people that most people have, you know, certain things they like that's healthy for them when it comes to food. And people have like workout styles that they like. So I try to figure out what those things are and then combine them with my protocols. And then that's pretty much how I create the final product. And then from there, it's just all about tracking what you do and then making it better over time. So if we wanted to use you for an example, I know that I guess are you vegan? I think you're vegan.
Jesus Christ, I can't go fully vegan. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. Folks that know me, y'all know I make cheesecakes, you know, and they are phenomenal. I
Vegetarian
make
then.
desserts. I'd be damned if I can't taste my own product. I'm sorry, I can't go 100%.
Let's say vegetarian then. Let's say okay. So let's just say you vegetarian. You can't lift any weights, and you quarantine at the house, so you don't really see anybody. For you, I would just pretty much. I mean, for the first thing I make everybody do is track. So I want them to report to me. Well, I don't like to use the word report, but I pretty much have them track everything they eat every day and then send it to me. So that way I can see like how you eat, because everybody follows a pattern when it comes to eating. So I'll just kind of look at that pattern and see how I can improve it, but also make it not noticeable, so to say. So I don't want to like drastically throw a lot of changes in their lifestyle. I just want to like take that pattern and kind of flip it and make it beneficial to them. Because most people, you can just take their eating pattern and flip it just slightly, or just change it up just slightly, and they'll get a lot of benefits out of it. So yeah, I'll have you tell me what you eat for a week, and then I'll just flip it to get some benefits out of it. And then from that point out, you know, we'll figure out what's missing from your diet, what's working in your diet, and then we'll pretty much create the perfect diet for you at that moment. And then over time, you know, you just have to make certain adjustments to get whatever type of goal you want. So it's really just all about tracking and making adjustments and focusing on progression. Because I mean, a lot of people just, I mean, for me personally, if I went to the gym every day for 2 hours and I spent time cooking these meals or whatever, and I wasn't getting no results, like at that point, I'm wasting my time. I could be doing something else. So for me, it's really all about results. And I know that some people may not care about results, but for me, and anybody that buys into my brand, like we are here to get results. And that doesn't mean we have to like go hardcore, intense, cold turkey every day. It just means that at the end of the day, you should be having some type of goal that you're working for or working towards. And so I try to put people on a track to a goal that's reasonable, but also realistic for their lifestyle. So, I mean, in the pandemic, I feel like I don't want to say it's easy, but it should be easy to get in shape. But I also understand that it's very trying time. So it's hard to go through a very intense diet too. So, um, but yeah, that's probably what I would do.
I
Well, that
like
is what I would do.
now that I like that. That's dope. Dang. Shoot, you make me want to go sign up for Gold's Gym again. I don't even know if we got one in the DMV, damn it. And I still want to go do a deadlift session right now.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
but I mean, I could get somebody in shape with just body weight too, though, because I studied calisthenics for a long time, and honestly, calisthenics is just as beneficial as weightlifting. It's not as good, but it's good enough. So I could get somebody in shape with just body weight too. Not yeah, we don't necessarily need weights. Weights to me is just like the superior form of working out for when you want to get in shape. If you're trying to burn fat, but I mean, you can do it with other things too. You can do it with body weight. You can do it with I mean, just cardio. I'm not really a fan of just cardio, but I mean, you can still lose weight with just cardio. But just not to get too technical, but I like to focus on fat loss as opposed to weight loss. So there's two different things. You have weight loss, which is weight is going to be fat and muscle. But when you're just losing fat, and of course you can't just only lose fat. You're going to lose a little bit of muscle, but ideally, you want to lose. I prefer to have my clients only lose fat. That way they can keep their size and their shape while still getting in shape. So yeah, um,
I like that. And see, we're gonna talk about this too off the record as well, because I found myself starting to get more into calisthenics because of the panorama. Because I just when all of this mask mandate stuff went down, and they was like, oh, you got to wear a mask at the gym. I'm like, that is so counterproductive to the already built in mask that you have in your body. And I know all the public health people are probably gonna rip me to shreds. I don't care. If you study biology, you know that this stuff is bullshit. But I'll leave that there. But it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I get when the athletes, they wear the, what is it, the mask with the little things that's on the side, like to control your breathing and stuff like that, so it builds up your endurance. That makes sense. But if I'm putting on a mask like that, to me, that's restricting your breathing in, like when you are lifting weights and stuff like that, and you got all this lactic acid build up and your muscles are starting to hurt, your body is screaming for the oxygen. It needs the oxygen so that way it can keep going, right? But I'm like, with that, it made me just kind of like get away from the gym, and it made me start looking more into calisthenics, right? And I've actually found that calisthenics actually is very beneficial. I, for some odd reason, got to a point where I was watching people on YouTube. I think they were in New York City or something like that, and they would be in the park doing push-ups and doing what is them damn thing called, pull-ups, and doing, what's the ones where you do the pull-up and then once you get to the top, it's like the push-up type thing.
muscle up.
Them shits there.
Yeah.
I tried one of them hoes and I was like, nope, can't do it. Nope,
That's
nope.
a whole entire, it's a skill. Like you can't just pop up and do that.
And I learned that day. Yeah, I learned it that quick that day. Can't do that. Cause I'm like, let me perfect my pull-up game first before I try to jump into the deep end, because this ain't it. But the calisthenics, I enjoy doing it because it's like, even if we're in this situation, like we're in a pandemic or whatever, or if let's say you go out of town and you stay in a hotel that doesn't have a gym in it, or you're not able to get to weights, you're still able to get in actually pretty damn good workout in, and it is just as effective as it is as you lifting weights. Like, this is a guy that I follow on Twitter. He has some calisthenic workouts that he has posted, and I did one of his leg day joints. Let's just say yesterday my legs was on life support, and I mean seriously on life support. And I was like, okay, I definitely need an Epsom salt bath after this. But at the same time, though, after that one workout, my legs had the immediate definition that they had back as if I had did a deadlift, or if I had did squats, or if I had did a regular leg day, And so it's like, there's is, I can't even say there's a cons to it. Like, to me, there's a lot more pros to calisthenics. Well, the con is like, if you're used to doing it outside and it's 5 degrees outside, ain't no doing that. And then if you live in an apartment building, you try to be mindful of those people that live below you, unless you live on the first floor. You try to be mindful of those people. And so that's the kind of cons to it. But I've actually started to really enjoy doing calisthenics, and I've incorporated yoga into my practices as well, because that gives me the time to meditate. It gives me my time to stretch. Even though I don't stretch every, nook and cranny of my body like I probably should, it still gives me the opportunity to kind of really tap into my body and see what is best for me, or to see what's going on. Like, do I need to increase my intake of this? Do I need to switch it up to this? Do I need to do whatever? It just gives me an opportunity to be more in tune with self, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, I don't want people to get it twisted. Like I'm a big fan of calisthenics and bodyweight movements, and most clients, I would start them off with at least 50% of their program, maybe even higher, on being just body weight movements. Because I mean, if you can't do 10 push-ups, you don't need to be bench person. If you can't do 10 pull-up, well, a lot of people can't do pull-ups, but if you can't move your body weight, you don't need to be moving real weight. So a lot of times I start off clients with, well, not a lot of times, most times actually all the time I start clients off with at least 50% of their program, maybe closer to 80% being strictly body weight training. And the only real con, there's not like a lot of cons with bodyweight training. The only con in comparison to weightlifting is that with bodyweight training, you can't progressively overload because you can't increase the resistance unless, I mean, you can gain weight, but it doesn't really work like that. So you cannot increase the resistance with bodyweight training. So that's like the only con. But I mean, unless you really obsessed with aesthetics like me, then you don't really need to worry about that. The only thing you really, most people, they just need to be active, work out, and get some type of strength build. And you can do that very, very well with bodyweight training. And I'm a huge fan of bodyweight training. I actually still do bodyweight training as part of my weight training program because it just helps with joints and just overall functionality and mobility. And even yoga, like you said, is a really good component too. So yeah, don't get it twisted. I might only post weightlifting videos, but I do a lot of bodyweight training. I actually, shameless plug, I actually have like I think 3 or 4 home workout videos on my YouTube channel. So yeah, search Jalen Delance home workouts on YouTube and something nice should pop up.
Oh yeah, and we'll put all that stuff in the description box below so y'all can get all of that and y'all can tap into this creative genius over here, this creative God body genius over here. Cause if you gonna keep saying I'm gonna lose weight this year, I'm gonna eat better, I'm gonna get in shape, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need you to actually put some work behind the thought. Like, don't just be out talking not about no action. Cause that's one thing I hate is a bitch that's gonna run her mouth, but ain't gonna never put no action. You ain't gonna throw no hands, so what you talking for? You ain't gonna lift no weight, then shut up. I don't wanna hear it. Like, and you can't use the pandemic as an excuse. If you're gonna take your ass outside to go to Chipotle because they still open or to go send in these little ugly ass bubbles and it's 5 degrees outside, you take your ass outside and run on somebody's track. It ain't gonna kill you. It's not. It literally won't. So just do
I
it.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I swear I can't, like, I don't really want to hear any excuses for anybody who hasn't gotten in shape over the panoramic. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not downplaying or being dismissive of anybody's like life or anything they've had to go through, but I've seen a lot of people get in shape over the panoramic, like a lot of people, and they were not lifting weights, like they weren't doing the things that I do. They just found a way and they lost the weight. Like it really was that simple. So yeah, I don't really buy into any excuses no more after living in 2020. Not
Okay.
and I don't want to be I've never been dismissive, but I mean 2020 was the worst living conditions for most people, and I've seen people get into shape. So I mean, at some point you just got to figure out what you need to do and make the best out of your situation, whatever that takes.
And that's 100% facts. Like I was preaching that all of 2020. Like this is your hard stop for you to figure out what's important. And if that's important to you, you will make a way out of no way. So if that's the case, go do what you got to do. And again, this is not to be insensitive to people's situations because a lot of people have lost jobs, a lot of people lost their family, lost money, lost all this different stuff. But you can't stay down if you want to elevate. If you decide to stay down, ain't nobody problem but yours at the end of the day, love.
I feel like I ain't gonna lie. I feel like most people get in shape when they hit their lowest. Like, I mean, shout out to the women that be coming out of women that be coming out of breakups, and they just be getting in like the best shape of their life. I think I see that with guys too, though. But like, man, people that hit the lowest, that's usually when they get in the best shape of their life. Or like, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think people should rethink, you know what I'm saying, how they feel about life and what they can get out of it, despite everything that's going on. Because I mean, I was so motivated during the panoramic. I mean, the panoramic's still going. I was so motivated in 2020 just to like be fearless because I think 2020 just taught us that shit real. Like, you ain't really got that many days. Like, you could die tomorrow. Like, yo, anybody can die tomorrow. It don't matter who you are. You can be Kobe Bryant. You can be Pop Smoke. You can be Jimmy from down the block. It don't matter. Like, you can die tomorrow. So I mean, you got to go out there and get it every day. So yeah, that's how 2020 got me feeling this year. So I'm kind of excited, and I think a lot of people are feeling that way too because I've seen a change in energy for some people. But I think a lot of people are still unmotivated. But I just think you just gotta like you just gotta find a reason. Like that's all you really need is a reason because you're never gonna really be motivated. And a lot of people always ask me like, Jalen, how are you so motivated to work out? And honestly, like I don't be motivated to work out. Like yesterday, I did like so much work yesterday, and I was just like so drained. But I knew I had to get this workout in. So like in that moment, I was never motivated, but I knew like if I wanted to get to where I needed to be, I had to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to let people know to stop depending on motivation because motivation is fleeting, and if you depend on it, you probably won't get anywhere.
Ooh, what a sermon and a great way to end this
I
episode.
hate to be the preacher, but it's just so real these days.
Now, just as much as I preach on this doggone, I mean, the first episode of this season, I preached a whole sermon for an hour and 30 minutes with a friend of mine as we did a pool for 2021. They hear enough preaching on this mug as it is. They'll be all right. You don't want to hear it, you'll be all right. But no, that's a great way to end this episode of Introspective Thoughts. You have any final comments or things you want to tell the class before we get up out of here for today?
Yeah, my introduction was kind of trash, so I'm just gonna do it over. I'm Jalen
Hey,
Delance
go for it. Ain't nobody stopping you. Go for it.
I'm Jalen Delance with Mastery Games. You can follow me on Instagram at Jalen Delance, Twitter at Jalen Delance, YouTube at Jalen Delance. Any platform, just search Jalen Delance and something cool will pop up. I have a lot of stuff coming this year, so yeah, just check me out, follow the brand, and if you're trying to get in shape, hit me up.
Hey, short, sweet to the point. Hey, we love a good retweet. That's all that matters. Look, and I'm gonna ask you to do all that anyway. So you did my job for me. I'm appreciative of that.
I'm practicing. I'm trying to get better. That's why I started my YouTube. Only reason, well, there's other reasons I started my YouTube channel, but one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel is because I'm not really a great speaker, and so doing YouTube is helping me project my thoughts more into words. Because I mean, I'm better at writing or like creating, but I'm not as good at speaking. So that's kind of why I started my YouTube channel. So yeah, definitely check out my YouTube channel, man. Free fitness content, very valuable content, great production. Yeah, I'm not gonna just keep plugging myself, but I think y'all should check it out.
Man, plug yourself. Well, that's what we do over here. This platform is for everybody. Like, plug yourself. Do what you do, man. Y'all, it's some good stuff out there. For real, if you are dead serious about, and I mean dead serious. I don't mean I might lose weight, or you say you're gonna lose weight in January, and then by the time Valentine's Day hit, after you done made your Alfredo and you done ate it, you ain't gonna work out no more. Like, nah, I need, if you dead serious about doing your fitness goals. Y'all saw how quick 2020 went by. Like, for real, you saw how quick 2020 went by. Even if we don't get to go outside in the summertime, which I'm going outside any damn way because you don't tell me what the fuck to do. Your summer body starts in the wintertime. I don't know if anybody told y'all that, but your summer body starts now. Like, if you want it then, you need to hit it now. Like, because I guarantee you're going to look up and it's going to be 75 degrees outside and you're going to be like, damn, it's almost sundress season. And here I am with no ass in the sundress season. You didn't get one last year. So I know y'all going to be going crazy this year. And I know the niggas going to be going, I'm taking my shirt off. Yeah. But if you dead serious, y'all, like, literally go follow this man, find his YouTube, get on it again. I'm gonna put the link in the description box, put all his stuff down there, so that way that you all can tap in with this man. Because I promise y'all, I've tried it for myself. My folks have tried it. They said all of us are in agreement and say that this stuff is A1. Like, I ain't gonna steer y'all wrong. That's never my intention, and I don't have the energy or the time to ever steer nobody wrong. So by all means, go support. We support Black business around here. We support Black creatives around here. We support Black people, except for those that ain't got no sense. Now those I can't tell you about them. But ones that got sense, we support them. The Candace Owens and the Ben Carsons of the world. I'm sorry, I can't. It's not that you ain't did nothing great. It's just we don't see each other. Like, we see past each other, and I can't help you. But thank you so much for coming on and gracing Introspective Thoughts with your knowledge, with your wisdom, and giving the keys to success to the people. With that being said, I'm sorry, I blanked just that quick. Wow. That's sad. But with that being said, y'all know where to find me. Find me on Twitter at the chosen 2_1, on IG at the kitchen conjurer. If you are wanting to be a guest on Introspective Thoughts, hit me up. We can make that happen. Because it's a platform for everybody. But if there's nothing else, y'all be great. Stay safe. Hopefully you get a stimmy by the time this comes out. And if not, I don't know. You waited this long. I guess you can wait a little bit longer. It is what it is. I don't know to tell you, but hopefully the country ain't burnt down by the time this come out either. So yeah. But by all means, but with that being said, y'all be great, and I holla.